Gold prospectors in the Wild West became legendary, but is this idealistic myth of the gold rush exaggerated? Life in mining towns was not idyllic. It was hard work, sometimes grueling, leading to death. But can the gold rush be controlled? The desire to change one's life through the quick wealth attracted many. But did it work for everyone? In this film, I will briefly and succinctly present how life was for gold prospectors in mining towns. Was the pursuit of gold, the struggle for survival with life-threatening risks, and separation from family worth it? The expansion into the western territories of the United States in the 19th century was driven by many factors, but one of the strongest stimuli was the gold rush. Many people from across the country and even from abroad abandoned their homes and ventured into the unknown, hoping for quick profits and a change of fortune. Mining towns sprang up almost overnight, offering gold prospectors places to live and conduct their activities. This film discusses what life was like in such settlements, the challenges gold prospectors faced, and the social, economic, and cultural impacts of this fever. Gold rushes, such as the one in 1848 in California, were catalysts for the development of mining towns, which arose spontaneously, usually without any prior urban planning. The first settlements were primitive wooden cabins, tents, and makeshift bars formed the core of the local infrastructure. These places grew rapidly as they attracted thousands of people thirsty for wealth. Initially, these settlements were unregulated, attracting not only miners but also criminals and gamblers, as well as various characters offering services in an unregulated world. Mining towns were typically located in remote mountainous areas, further complicating daily life. The lack of steady supplies and poor communication infrastructure meant that residents were dependent on the transportation of raw materials and food suppliers. As gold deposits were exhausted, the settlements often became deserted, turning into ghost towns that can still be found in many places across the western United States today. Living conditions in mining towns were harsh and difficult. These towns were usually overcrowded, and the infrastructure could not keep up with the rapid influx of people. The lack of proper sewage systems, running water, and basic sanitary facilities led to the widespread spread of diseases such as dysentery and cholera. There was a common shortage of food and basic goods, forcing settlers to make do with whatever they could find locally. Food imported from distant regions was expensive, and prices fluctuated dramatically depending on the supply. Residents lived in wooden houses or tents, often exposed to harsh weather conditions such as snow, frost, or heavy rainfall. In winter, many settlements were cut off from the world by snow, exacerbating supply shortages. As a result, mortality rates in mining towns were very high, both due to diseases and malnutrition. Gold prospectors, known as 49ers, from the year 1849, when the gold rush peaked, struggled with exhausting physical labor, often without the guarantee of success. Work in mines and rivers was not only hard, but also dangerous. Gold prospectors worked from dawn until dusk, sifting gravel and soil in hopes of finding valuable gold nuggets. They were often forced to work in groups, especially when working in deep mines, which required not only significant effort, but also specialized equipment. It happened that gold prospectors lost their investments before they even began to extract precious metals. Purchasing land, equipment, hiring labor, and transporting to remote locations consumed most of their savings. As a result, many returned empty-handed, in debt, or forced to seek work on farms, in copper mines, or in local infrastructure. Mining communities were ethnically and socially diverse, which often led to tensions and conflicts. In these towns, one could find both Americans and immigrants from Europe, China, and Latin America. Ethnic tensions were common, especially towards Chinese workers, who were seen as competition for jobs and resources. Power in mining towns was initially informal, often based on the strength and authority of local leaders or self-proclaimed sheriffs. However, institutions of justice, such as mining courts, quickly began to emerge, resolving disputes over land ownership and mining rights. These courts were often subjective and favored wealthier landowners, leading to numerous abuses. Mining towns, due to their dynamic and chaotic nature, were places of numerous crimes. Thefts, frauds, and violence were everyday occurrences. Gold prospectors often fell victim to frauds related to fake mining claims or were robbed by criminal groups that seized their hard-earned wealth. Many settlers armed themselves with firearms to protect their property and lives. The lack of strong law enforcement often led to vigilantism, where suspects of crimes were hanged without trial. Saloons, serving as places of entertainment, gambling, and alcohol consumption, also became sites of brawls and murders. Although mining towns were dominated by men, women played significant roles in them. Many ran boarding houses, laundries, and also took care of preparing meals for miners. Some women were involved in trade and established small shops that sold basic goods. In some towns, women also ran brothels, which were sources of many moral tensions, but simultaneously one of the more stable sources of income in these harsh conditions. Despite the difficult situation, many women found their niche in mining towns, contributing to the development of the local economy. As gold deposits were depleted, mining towns gradually became deserted. Many of them, once bustling with life, turned into abandoned settlements known today as ghost towns. Only a few settlements survived, transforming into more economically diverse cities that eventually developed thanks to other industries. The legacy of the gold rush in the Wild West is not only the abandoned towns, but also the lasting social and cultural changes. Gold prospectors, their hard work, and often tragic fates influenced the shaping of the Wild West mythology as a place of freedom, but also of constant struggle against nature and social challenges. Life in mining towns and the daily existence of gold prospectors in the Wild West were full of hardships, but also of hope. The gold rush attracted thousands of people who risked everything to change their fortunes. Although many did not achieve success, they left behind a legacy that influenced the formation of the American West's identity and its place in history. I'm glad you found yourself here, which means you watched the entire film. If you want more information and videos about the Wild West, subscribe to the channel. Thank you.